Thank you so much for watching another video. Thank you if you watched the last video before I get into this one on performing security assessments using the Microsoft Baseline Analyzer. And in this video, we're going to actually go over compliance patching again. We're going to do a few things. We're going to install and configure the Windows services, update services, and also the service certificate security, and also some computer groups and configuring some GPO policies for WSUS. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, so I have the server manager here. So let's go ahead to the computer management. All right, perfect. All right, then we head to the disk management. And what we're doing is we're just configuring the disk storage for the WSUS because the DC is going to be the designated server to run the Windows Server update services. So to prepare the server to assume the role of the WSUS server, I got to prepare the disk volume that will be used for storage on the OS updates. So we're actually going to shrink some volume from here. Loads the whole, there it is. Okay, I'm going to lower this to 10,000. Right. It's going to automatically calculate the total size and shrink once I shrink it. All right, there we go. So now we can take care of the unallocated disk. Next, next, next. And actually, let's see. Okay, now do that. All right, perfect. So now we've completed the simple value wizard, right? And it usually takes a few seconds, but look like it went a bit quicker than that. So now we can go ahead and install and configure the WSUS. So let's actually open up PowerShell here. Right. All right, collecting data. All right, so now the Windows, it indicates that the services and their dependencies were successfully installed. So now we're going to go ahead and type another prompt here that's going to is going to run another prompt, right, in order to successfully make sure everything is working properly. So I'm actually not the command is kind of long, so I'm actually going to put us on the other side of that command here. All right, so the operation completed successfully. You can see my command here. I do want to bore with the command. So we're good to go now. Now I'm just going to reboot the machine here in a second. All right, so everything is officially restarted. So let's go ahead and let's go to the Windows update, Windows Server update service. Let's see, there we go. All right, perfect. So let's actually go to the E drive here. Perfect. All right, so it usually takes a few moments for it to finish. Progress bar and let us know. And then on the server dashboard, usually, even though we already see this, the yellow exclamation point icon is going to be there for a different reason than why it's there at the moment. And it's just going to indicate that that's some additional configuration may be needed, but it'll automatically launch a widget WSUS to address this particular configurement, this requirement. All right, so the install is officially completed, so we can go ahead and hit close out of here. The wizard should automatically open for us. Let's see. There it is. How you doing, buddy? All right, perfect. And of course, I would like to join the improvement program. And yes, I would like to synchronize from the updates. So that's cool. We don't need a proxy server at the moment. Actually, you know what? Set back. Second thought, let's do one. And then we're going to do, instead of 80, let's do 80/80, right? And then let's, of course, start connecting. Take a few moments here. All right, so the update is finally complete. So we're going to hit next here. Then I only speak English, so English is good. All right, let's see. Okay, let's do this here. So you're supposed to uncheck. There it is. And then 8.1, which is this OS here. All right, we can find a faster way to get there. Is it up or there? Let's see, buddy. All right, and let's see. We only want, let's see, critical security. We don't need definitions. Okay, next. And of course, we want it manually, right? Then we can definitely begin. Right. And finish. Perfect. Now it should be updating here in a second. Actually, let me maximize this. Yep. All right. Perfect. Let's take a look here. Should synchronize it. It is. Hopefully, it doesn't take too much time to synchronize. That's the first time that the server is synchronized it with the update website. So hopefully the bandwidth isn't too bad as far as what is getting to the lab, so it won't take too long. All right, so it's nearly done here at about 97%. Hopefully it'll be done in the next few seconds. But what we're doing is we're about to get into the Windows Server Update Services, the server certificate security portion of it. The security for the certificates is a very critical component to making sure the information is kept confidential, because doing this, we'll be able to understand who delivered said information, thereby confirming the integrity of not only the data, but also the sender of that data. And by applying the secure sockets layer, we help to ensure that the servers is using the required security channel to communicate on. So the first task we're going to do, actually, once it's done synchronizing, is we're going to enable the secure socket layer for the WSUS server. Now, for security reasons, it's important for us to enable the secure sockets layer for the WSUS server to encrypt web network traffic between the server and the requested clients. In addition, the SSL verifies the identity of the WSUS server when Windows Update clients make a connection to it. So we're going to do a few things. This is right on time. We're going to do a few things to make sure now that this is fully synchronized. Just going to restart this here. Okay. All right, perfect. So let's actually go back to the dashboard for the service manager here. Let's go to IIS. Okay. All right, so we finally have our Internet Information Services Manager up and running here. So let's actually go ahead and to the server certificates. Never find those. Let's open it up. Right. I'm going to create our own certificate. All right, so let's name it. Naturally, we're going to name it after the server that we're currently on. All right. That's fine. And now we can see it fully updated here. So let's actually take a look at our site here as well. All right. And I'll take a look at the administration. And then let's see. Take a look at findings here. All right, perfect. And then let's add it here. If it lets me add it. All right, perfect. So we're going to name it, of course, again after our server that we're on. If it works, if it wants to work, I mean, it could have called off. All right, click OK. So we're good there. Let's actually hit close for our site binding so we can save those changes. So let's see. So we're going to make sure that the secure socket layer settings, we're going to take a look at those features as well. So let's see. Just the bindings, right? So now we're just going to actually have it require the secure socket layer. Then we're going to actually apply it. And of course, naturally, it has changed. So we're good to go. Now we're able to move on to our next task, which is going to be exporting the self-signed certificates, right? So let's actually head back here, right? And then let's go back to our server certificates. All right, perfect. Up here. Right, and let's go back here. Right, perfect. So let's take a look at our details. We're going to copy this file. We want next, and of course, we want to export private key as point. Right, and that's good. So next. All right, and of course, password is fine. Right. Next. And of course, here. And finish. Perfect. So the export was successful. We got the notification there, so we can actually go ahead and close this out here. So now we can move on to our next task, which is going to be configuring the domain to trust self-signed certificates. So let's actually take a look at our group policy management here. All right, perfect. So let's actually, let's see. We're going to edit our default domain policy here. Once it lets us. There it is. There we go. Open this up like my window's nice and open. All right. Right, actually. I'm gonna go to perfect. So next, all right. File name. Actually, you know what? Okay, perfect. That's good. All right, perfect. So as we can see here, the import was successful. So we're good to go here. So that means that the self-signed certificate is now added. So now we can actually close this window out here. And now we're able to actually create a computer group or multiple computer groups for our WSUS because they enable us to target updates to specific computers and allow for updates to be applied to specific computers in a granular fashion. So let's actually go back to the Windows Server Update Services. Here. Perfect. So it may give us a connection error. I'm going to close this out, refresh. All right. So I kind of figured I get a connection error, right? So I'll just remove console here. Yes, this is fine. And this is caused by binding the self-signed certificate to DMO1. So the Windows Server Update Services server. So now that I've removed it, I'm just going to reconnect to the server. And of course, let's see. Unsecure second layer, of course. Perfect. All right, so let's go ahead and expand this now that we're connected. All right. All right, let's actually add a computer here. Like we said we would. Naturally, we're going to add, and we see it added officially here as far as another group. All right, and let's take a look here. Right, we can take a look at our computers. Okay, and let's see, we want to use the group policies. All right. All right, perfect. So now we can move on to our next task, which is going to be approving the downloaded updates that we have, right? So let's actually, because the update services is running on DC1, so we're actually going to choose that here, right? And then let's see. Let's see the approved link here. Okay. So I'm actually going to choose a security update that has not been superseded. Let's see. And we can tell from this here. Just make it bigger. If it's been superseded whenever I click on it. Let's see if I scroll. Not a lot. Okay. All right, so we found one that hasn't been superseded, so we're actually going to approve it here. Right. So now in the approve updates, we're definitely let's see, approve for install, of course, and we're going to do the same for let's see, the computers here. Okay. Now it should be okay. Install. Usually, actually, let me leave this. I'll just do engineering. All right, and then there it is. Perfect success. All right, so now we can look for there it is, the update, and it's just going to tell us. It looks like it's in about 3 parts where it's going to install. Right, and then let's see. Let's approve. All right, perfect. So actually, thought I clicked on another. Approve, engineering, approve for install. All right, perfect. So we're good there. All right, perfect. So it looks like they're going to be installed. Once they're taken care of, then we'll be good to go. So I'm actually going to minimize this so we can move on to our next task while I was doing that in the background. So our next exercise we're going to do is configure the group policy object policy for the WSUS. We're going to implement the task to deploy the update to be the group policy for this region. So I'm going to create it for the update services client. So let's actually go to our Active Directory. Let's see here. Just wait for it to load for me. This is a mix. All right, so we got Active Directories finally here. All right, so let's do a new organization unit. Let's see here. It's not responding. Okay. Okay. So what I'm trying to do now, I'm trying to right click for practice labs, and then we're going to create a new organizational unit, right? Which is going to allow us to facilitate the groups. Right, so clients. Perfect. All right, so we're good there. So let's actually go ahead here. It's loading for us. Okay. Perfect. And we're going to move this one. And it's just going to be used as a test computer for the distribution of the updates as far as 801. So we're going to move this to the WSUS clients that we just created. All right, perfect. So actually, I can actually close this out. So we're good to go there. So let's take a look at our group policy management. I think it's right here. That's my lab wanted to take the day off. It didn't tell me. All right, so let's take a look here. We're going to create a GPO. Right. Okay, here we go. All right, now we can see it updated fully there. All right, so let's actually edit it also. All right, perfect. So let's make this bigger here. Okay, Windows. Here. Now this window. All right, we want to configure our automatic updates. Enable. All right, good. Actually want this to auto download. We want that 0, 3 every day. It's good. All right, perfect. And of course, apply. And we hit OK. We're good there. All right, perfect. So just going to take a look at the intranet here. Also, all right, perfect. And of course, we want that enabled. And let's see, we want this guy here. It's the one we set up earlier. And that was the intranet update service, and now we're doing the statistics server. Going to be actually about the same, so I'll just copy and paste. Here. All right, perfect. So let's take a look at our detection frequency. Of course, enable 12 hours, not 22. Right. Perfect. All right, so let's take a look at enabling the clients. There we go. Naturally, we want enabled, and the name we want is engineering. There we go. All right, so now that we've defined the WSUS settings for our group policy or our GPO in our group policy management, I'm just going to close this out because we are good here. Now we're just going to troubleshoot the password and then verify the WSUS client functionality, right? Now, it may cause a relationship error between 801 and the domain controller. In that case, then I'll work my way around that. But nonetheless, we can move forward. So I'm going to connect to 801 actually. I'm going to log in here. All right, so we're in. Now by troubleshooting the password and verifying the client functionality, this basically just describes the relationship between the server and the client, right? And then which no longer exists due to the security changes, and we have moved the machine to the WSUS folder for updates. Let's actually go to our PowerShell. So, if it'll oblige me. Actually, let's see. Right, perfect. Oh, yes, of course. All right, so I'm going to run this command here. Okay. This is just a reset the password, but I'm going to keep the same password technically. All right, so now the device should automatically log back in without a prompt. So I'm actually going to close this out. And so we should be back on the desktop once this closes out. And I want to go to the command prompt. CLI here. All right. Of course. All right, so of course we want to do a group policy update. I'm going to force it. Should take just a moment. And then, all right, so after we do the update, now we're going to initiate a registration and the detection of the WSUS server. Let's see, so we do. Perfect. Now, just going to restart for me. Not going to put you guys through that. All right, so we have everything up and running. So let's actually head to our control panel. Well, I thought we did. So we're going to head up to our control panel. We're going to check the system and security. Okay. Here we go. All right, perfect. Now let's take a look at our updates. Change settings, of course. All right, now we can see here that this server, this workstation is configured to receive updates, right, automatically. And of course, it will take a few hours before updates would be downloaded to the computer should it have been a real computer. But that brings us to the end of this video for compliance patching. And just for a brief recap of everything that we've completed here, we installed and configured the WSUS. We took a look at the WSUS server certificate security. We created a computer group for the WSUS, and we also configured the GPO policy for the WSUS. That was definitely a fun video to do as far as the compliance patching. And be on the lookout for the next video, which would be mapping network. That should be even more fun. I'll see you on the next one. Stay curious, stay secure.